Tai Lopez, Mr. Social Media of the back half of the 2010s, Mr. Business Expert. Along with his business partner, Dr. Alex Mayer, Tai is buying distressed businesses and hoping to turn them around with a touch of that internet marketing magic.
If you're an accredited investor, I have something I think you're going to want to listen to. I consider it big news, but in a sense, it's old news.
Tai is back with a new business opportunity to invest in. We all know and love Tai from all of the ads he was running a few years ago. He was like an annoying friend, always jumping back into our lives just at the time we didn't want him to. But he's back now, and this ad has been viewed 6.3 million times, so those of you without YouTube Premium are definitely reintroducing Tai back into your life. Accredited investors only. For qualifications, a person must have an annual income exceeding $200,000, $300,000 for joint income for the last 2 years with the expectation of earning the same or a higher income in the current year. A person is also considered an accredited investor if they have a net worth exceeding $1 million, either individually or jointly with their spouse. He has fully captured the market of people looking to invest $67 in his 67 Steps program. Now he is after the big fish. He is starting to buy businesses with his business partner, Alex Mayer.
Following this shift for years. Started in e-com myself more than 15 years ago. You may know me for social media, but people don't realize that I've always been doing some form of e-commerce going back to 2001.
Tai is the OG fake guru on YouTube, always teaching you that you're a few books away or his course away from being a millionaire. Now you're an investment in his fund away from being a millionaire.
Recently, it's been in the news what I've been doing with my business partner, Dr. Alex Mayer. Bought Radio Shack. Bought Pier 1 Imports.
I've been really interested to see how this experiment would go from the minute I saw Tai start promoting the idea that he and Alex were going to buy business brands and turn them into e-commerce businesses. Regardless of what you think about Tai, I think we can all agree that he's won the internet marketing game, and I really like that he's buying businesses now, as that will legitimize his alleged business expertise. But with all things Tai, you need to take a peek behind the curtain to get a better understanding of what's really going on.
And we bought the intellectual property, made the move to transform them into e-commerce brands.
In between talking about these big brands, he throws in that he's buying the intellectual property, just casually throws it in. It's important because Tai isn't buying the entire brand, their real estate, or their inventory. He's simply buying the brand name. Big difference. As you'll find out in a minute, it's likely that he's just a minority owner in a lot of these deals. Before we go any further, I have to admit that I am hoping Tai succeeds. I know a lot of you probably want to see him fail and just go away. I really like what he's doing. I think it's a really smart strategy with huge upside, and I think it's going to work. I think this business has the potential to make Tai the ultimate winner of the fake gurus. Savvy marketers know how to dress up an opportunity to be much more lucrative than it really is. Because of that, this business needs a deep dive inspection. Let's start with Alex Mayer, promoted as a NASA scientist and founder of Zoosk, which sold for $300 million.
By the way, if you don't know Dr. Alex Mayer, he rang the New York Stock Exchange bell because he sold his company, Zoosk, an online dating platform, e-commerce, for $300 million.
One, he worked as a contractor for the QSS Group, not NASA specifically, while he was completing his MBA. These timelines are according to his LinkedIn. I imagine it would be hard to work for NASA while completing an MBA at UC Berkeley Business School. Two, he ran Zoosk until 2014. Zoosk planned to go public in 2014 by filing a pre-IPO. This was a company that was losing a lot of money. According to their S1 filing, they had lost $45.7 million in 2010, $12.2 million in 2011, $20.6 million in 2012, and $2.6 million in 2013. According to this TechCrunch article, dating platform Zoosk ditches IPO plan as founders exit leadership roles. And his co-founder Alex Mayer, currently president, will also be moving into a board position. The company was losing a lot of money, the dating app space was highly competitive, they abandoned an IPO, and Alex moved into a board position. I would assume he still had equity in the company. How much? Hard to guess. According to Crunchbase, by the time Alex stepped down as president, Zoosk had taken on $61.1 million of funding from 5 different series raises. For a company losing that much money, I can't imagine the venture capitalists were taking a small share of equity. A company losing a lot of money, raised a lot of money, multiple co-founders, and Alex stepped down into a board position. I can't imagine he had any more than 10% of the company after equity splits with co-founders, venture capital equity, and debt. I'm not taking anything away from Alex. I very much applaud someone that can build a company, but the promotion of Alex sold his company for $300 million leads you to believe that he walked away with $300 million. This is what marketers like Tai do. Spark Networks SE closes its $258 million acquisition of dating brand Zoosk.
Rang the New York Stock Exchange bell because he sold his company, Zoosk, an online dating platform, e-commerce, for $300 million.
It was apparently $300 million, but really only $258 million. The acquisition happened in 2019, 5 years after Alex stepped down as president. When you really divvy up everyone's equity and after paying taxes, Alex may have walked away with $5 to $10 million. Maybe? That's impressive, but the marketing is very misleading because Ty wants you to believe that he has $300 million after selling his company. That's not even close to remotely true. Between Ty and Alex, I think it's safe to say that we have two unreliable narrators pitching opportunities to invest in their business buying fund.
But we bought them as what we consider distressed assets. I'm a big believer in keeping business simple. KISS, keep it simple, stupid, buy low, sell high.
There are a lot of reviews out there implying that Ty does some shady business practices that rely on his customers behaving simply stupid. Thankfully, they share their experiences online. If you spend enough time searching online, you'll see the testimonials about how Zoosk was notorious for making it really difficult on the consumer to cancel their subscription, allowing Zoosk to rack up undesired charges. Additionally, many reviews claim to know that Zoosk used bots to act as users and send messages which tricked the users into paying to see the message. An elaborate operation to upsell the customer into spending more money. Ty received similar reviews and complaints for a scammy dating app back in the day matching millionaires and beautiful women, allegedly. You probably aren't surprised then that their company MentorBox is full of one-star reviews. I bet you aren't surprised then that the top 2 reviews are dealing with not being able to access material online or getting a refund. If you scroll down Trustpilot, you will find many people complaining of the same issues, their card being charged for months after asking for a refund or not being able to contact anyone at customer support for a refund.
With free trial, you double your 2x your conversion.
Let's move on to Rev, Retail E-Commerce Ventures, which is the company buying these brands, hoping to turn them into e-commerce giants.
Look at these brands like Radio Shack, 8,000 stores in America at its peak. Pier 1 Imports, when we bought it the previous year, it had done $1.7 billion in revenue.
This is being pitched as an opportunity to invest your money into Ty and Alex's business that will focus on improving these brands' online presence and e-commerce sales. The point of this video is not to tell you to stay away from Ty and Alex. If you want to invest with Rev, go ahead. I'm just simply pointing out things I found and reminding you to always do plenty of due diligence before investing your money.
And now he and I are focused day in, day out on the acquisition of distressed brands, well-known brands, and the transformation into e-commerce brands.
Let's start with Radio Shack. Rev acquired the brand from the investment group that has owned and managed it following the second of 2 bankruptcy filings. The investment group will retain a minority stake in Radio Shack. Radio Shack was once a popular brand with billions of dollars in revenue every year. A decade later, their revenue numbers are a fraction of what they were. In May 2015, General Wireless Inc., an affiliate of Standard General, bought the company's assets, including the Radio Shack brand name and related intellectual property, for US $26.2 million. Basically what Ty and Alex did, but they bought it for much less. My concern for Rev is that buying these brands seems like catching a falling knife, and trying to infuse capital in them is just prolonging the inevitable dissolution of the business altogether. 2 years after this company bought Radio Shack for $26 million, they filed for bankruptcy. And then, a couple of years after that, Rev is buying the brand name for, I imagine, significantly less. Next is Rev's purchase of Wilhelma International Inc. If you haven't heard of this company, it's an international modeling agency. Maybe Ty needs models for his ads, so he was inclined to be the owner of this modeling agency. I was able to find the Schedule 13D General Statement of Acquisition of Beneficial Ownership for Wilhelmina International by Rev. The stock is currently trading at $4.63 a share. From the chart, you can probably tell when the stock was purchased. There was a sharp rise up to around $10 a share, followed by a sharp decrease. Ironically enough, there was an 8% drop today when taking this screenshot. This share price will matter in just a second, so keep $4.63 per share in mind. At the current share price and the market value being $23.88 million, there are just under 5.2 million shares outstanding. It might be a small image for you, but this shows Rev purchasing 950,000 shares of Wilhelmina for 18.4% ownership of the company. Along with Rev having ownership, Modell Sporting Goods is listed as part owner, which I found odd. The source of funds is WC, which I have found to indicate working capital. Modell's is one of the brands that Alex and Ty have purchased. I'm not implying anything shady is going on at all. This type of M&A deal is outside my knowledge space, so I'm new to reading this, but I do find it odd that one of the brands they bought is now providing working capital to this brand. Alex, this guy who sold his company for $300 million, and Tai Lopez, Mr. Life of Luxury, private jets, fleet of exotic sports cars, and multi-millions sold in business courses, are using a recently purchased brand as working capital, and they're raising money to buy the brands. It gets better. Here's what I found very odd about this transaction. Here's the purchase agreement declaring that the purchaser, Rev, aka Retail E-Commerce Ventures, will be buying their shares at a sales price of $10 per share. I just showed you that the company was worth around $5 per share at the purchase date and now is only worth $4.63 per share months after the acquisition. Tai and Alex could be making crazy cash flow with this company, and down the road this company will be worth $10 per share or more. But I'm not entirely sure I understand what they're doing. For those of you who know M&A deals really well, write in the comments if this is a normal practice. I don't know what I'm missing here. They're overpaying by 200% for 18.4% of a company and using Modell's, a sporting goods brand, to act as the working capital.
Dress Bar, the company I bought, horrible e-com operations. They didn't know how to do a pop-up. They didn't know how to get email lists. They didn't know how to properly collect SMS lists. They did not understand Google Analytics. They didn't look at. They never logged into their Facebook ad manager. They just used an agency but they never double checked on the agency. Run very subpar ads. The way that they delivered the product, the way that they updated the customer on new products coming out, it was just poor.
There's no doubt in my mind that Alex and Tai understand the internet marketing and e-commerce landscape. I know they're easy to hate on, but they have made a lot of money in the 2010s using social media ads, selling products, and building up brands.
The most Alex and I have ever done in e-com, month in and month out, like averaged over, we've done about 16 million a month, 17 million a month on e-com in our businesses. Not businesses that we do marketing for, our own businesses that we owned, that we founded, we were doing, and not just for 1 month or one sale, like month in, month out, we average over 17 million a month in e-com sales, not counting real estate.
If those numbers are true, Tai and Alex are making boatloads of money within all of the companies they operate. I know a lot of you hate Tai and think he's one of the biggest fake gurus, but I wouldn't be surprised if those numbers are true. Definitely gross revenue, keep that in mind, but Tai makes real money. Another one of the brands that was purchased was Steinmart. Rev's new majority-owned subsidiary, Steinmart Online Inc., submitted the winning bid of $6.02 million at the November 18 court auction, topping other offers, including the subsidiary's original $4 million stalking horse bid. A quick look at Steinmart financial statements shows a company generating $1.2 billion in revenue, but losing over $10 million net. I'm interested to see the financials after Tai and Alex complete what they believe to be turnaround from retail to e-commerce. I'm also interested to see what they actually own. I'm not fully in belief that a $6 million bid at an auction buys you complete ownership of a company generating $1.2 billion in revenue. I'm not an expert in this area, so there's something I'm not seeing. I was able to find the Steinmart bankruptcy proceedings and found it to be an interesting read. If you're the type of person like me who enjoys reading financial statements, boring. Just a couple of interesting notes for those of you who have never read one of these before. They list the estimated number of creditors to be between 5,000 and 10,000. If you think you're in debt, imagine 5,000 to 10,000 people calling to say, "Hey, how are you doing over there? You have my money?" A segment of this document was a list of the top 20 creditors. CIT Commercial Services is owed a small sum of only $16.45 million. Rosenthal and Rosenthal Inc. are owed $10.6 million, and Harvest Small Business Finance LLC is owed a measly $10 million. Those are just numbers, but it puts your $800 credit card statement into perspective, doesn't it? If I was owed $16 million from a company going out of business, I wouldn't be sleeping straight. There's plenty of creditors owed more than $1 million. I don't know how Chapter 11 bankruptcy works in reality. Is this debt still owed, or is it just restructured? Do Tai and Alex take on this debt when buying the Steinmart brand? If you're thinking about investing in this fund, I think these are questions that should be asked. In summary, if you're looking to invest in a fund like this, I'd be asking a lot of questions and making sure you have a really good idea of what you're actually investing in. Tai and Alex don't have any experience with this specific venture, so make sure your money is safe before investing 6 figures or more in their fund. What I'm confused about is Tai could have golden content for days on social media about these merger and acquisition deals. This is the most legitimate business venture he's done while in the public spotlight, and to me, if this works out well for him, I think it legitimizes his business knowledge. But he doesn't talk about it at all. He just runs a huge ad budget promoting the fund. Either way, I'll for sure be paying attention since I think it's an interesting strategy. Thanks for watching.